Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be comparing Kevin Lerone's best version, which in my opinion is his 1995 Mr. Olympia version, against Dexter Jackson's prime version, which in my opinion is his 2009 Mr. Olympia showing. This is actually a fan requested comparison, and just to let you guys know, if you comment down below a comparison you'd like to see, it's more than likely that I'll end up doing it sometime in the near future. If I could just ask you guys to quickly like and subscribe before the video starts, it would be really appreciated, as many of you guys know that I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and it would really mean a lot to me. So without any further ado, let's get into this comparison. The front double biceps pose is a really good pose for both men here, as Kevin Levrone has some huge arms, and even though Dexter Jackson is considerably shorter than Kevin Levrone, Dexter honestly has bigger arms in my opinion, and his arms look better. I like the roundness and fullness of the biceps on Dexter Jackson, as well as the round bubbliness of those triceps, and the V-taper looks really great as well. I personally prefer the midsection of Kevin though, as it looks a lot more streamlined, and I really like the lat flare on Kevin as well. But I will say that Dexter has amazing lat flare too, and probably has the better quads in terms of separation and development. So it's kind of a toss up here because both of them present really amazing packages. Conditioning is on point from the front for both of them. However, I would probably give this to Dexter Jackson because he has the better arms, an equally as good V taper with great lat flare and the better quads. The front lat spread clearly shows the advantage Kevin Levrone has over Dexter Jackson in the clavicle width aspect. As you guys can clearly see, Dexter Jackson is much more narrow. However, that doesn't, hold him back necessarily because he has really full and 3D-like muscles. The shoulders, arms, and chest are ripped and striated, and he looks phenomenal in this pose. However, the only place where I can say that he loses to Kevin Levrone is in the lat area, because Kevin is filling out this pose to a T in the lat region. Dexter would be winning in the quads, having the better developed quads. However, Kevin has pretty separated quads as well. So it's a toss up, right? You guys can choose who you want. I would probably go with Kevin because of the clavicle width advantage, and he's winning in the lat area. Kevin's arms look really good, and his shoulders and chest are striated as well. However, if you prefer fullness and a 3D-like effect to the muscle bellies, then you would go with Dexter Jackson. But for me, I'm going to choose Kevin Levrone because he fills out this pose perfectly. The side chest pose is a phenomenal pose for both of these men here. I mean, wow, look at the fullness in the arms for both men. I will tell you that Kevin has the bigger arm, and it's really conditioned as well. You can see striations in the shoulder a bit, and the far pec on Kevin is striated perfectly. However, Dexter has the more conditioned arm. You can see the striations in the shoulder for Dexter are much more prominent, and the chest, the far pec for Dexter is really good as well. Dexter, for my money, would definitely have a better chest because it looks a lot more full, the front pec, but Kevin is not far behind. The side leg would go to Dexter as well because he has more details throughout the quad and the hamstring, and the tie-ins look a lot more pronounced for Dexter. But Kevin does show the details in the glutes there and has a pretty good side leg as well. I would probably go with Dexter here because he is showing a little bit better condition and a lot more fullness throughout the chest. But, Kevin looks great here too, and there's definitely an argument to be made for Kevin winning. The side tricep pose is a great pose for both of these guys, and they look amazing here. I will tell you, and I think you guys can immediately see, that the tricep for Kevin Levrone is better overall than Dexter. However, Dexter has a, equally as striated shoulder and a better bicep slash brachialis area than Kevin Levrone in terms of conditioning. Both of these guys are displaying their midsections a little bit differently, where Kevin Levrone is displaying the side of his midsection and Dexter is displaying his abdominal muscles to the front. I will tell you that I prefer Kevin Levrone's display overall because he looks the most balanced, and I will tell you that, Dexter's midsection isn't really too pleasing for me to look at because it looks a little distended, and in these close comparisons, minute details like that will throw me off. And yeah, I will tell you that I prefer Kevin. Kevin's side leg looks a lot better than it did in the side chest, and Dexter looks great overall, but Kevin looks the best to me, so I'm going to give the point to Kevin here. The rear lat spread is an amazing pose for both men, but I am immediately drawn to Kevin Levrone because he has the wider and denser back. His glutes and hamstrings are ripped and striated, and he looks so good from behind here. I mean, he was always criticized for having a weak back, but here in 1995, you can't say that. I mean, look at how good his back looks. Dexter Jackson also looks flawless. I mean, his glutes and hamstrings are rock hard, and his back itself looks flawless as well. The Christmas tree area is like the cherry on top for Dexter Jackson. I mean, that is amazing. And Kevin Levrone clearly is not as conditioned in the, lower back region. But Kevin Levrone has the density, and that's something that Dexter Jackson doesn't appear to have. Dexter has some amazing upper traps, but the lower back area doesn't appear to be as dense, and he's not as wide as Kevin. So Dexter has the conditioning advantage, whereas Kevin has the width and the thickness. I'm going to lean towards, giving the point to Kevin Levrone because I like his display a bit better and I am overall more impressed. However, I will tell you that Dexter Jackson does appear to be a little more polished, but, that's not enough to touch the density and width of Kevin Levrone. The rear double bicep shot is once again an amazing pose for both of these men, but like in the rear lat spread, I am drawn to Kevin Levrone. I mean, look at that back, right? Even though it looks to be a little bit less wide than Dexter's, it's now looking so striated in the trap area, so good, and the lat insertions are clearly visible. I mean, for Dexter, the lat insertions are also clearly visible, and Dexter looks to be a lot more symmetrical. And I will tell you that I like Dexter Jackson's, 3D bubbliness of those triceps and biceps. His arms look a lot better than Kevin's. The glutes and hamstrings, I would give the glutes to Dexter, but I would definitely give the hamstrings to Levrone because the hamstrings just look so much better for Kevin. This is a hard one, a lot harder than the rear lat spread, because now Dexter seems to be opening up a bit more and appears to be wider here, whereas Kevin appears to still have the density and he appears to have more conditioning now. I mean, this is a hard one, guys. Personally, I would probably lean a bit more towards Kevin, but I will tell you that Dexter does appear to have a slight advantage in the conditioning and just the symmetry. So even though I personally prefer Kevin, I think the right call is to give this rear double bicep shot to Dexter Jackson. The abs and thigh shot is a good pose for Kevin, but a slightly better pose for Dexter because Dexter has better developed abdominal muscles and, a slightly more symmetrical set of them as well. Not to mention, he has a smaller midsection. Kevin Levrone has a small midsection, however, his obliques spill over just a tiny bit, which slightly ruins the aesthetics, and his abdominal muscles aren't developed as well as Dexter's. Kevin Lerone's quads look pretty good here. However, we've probably established that Dexter has the better quads because Dexter's quads look a little bit more full and are a little bit more refined and polished. So I think Dexter has a better V-taper because of that smaller waist. Kevin does not look bad, but when you put him against Dexter Jackson, he kind of falls a little bit short. So for that reason, I'm going to give Dexter Jackson the point in the abs and thigh. All right, so the most muscular pose here looks phenomenal for both of these guys. I mean, this is the signature pose for Kevin Levrone, and honestly, Dexter Jackson appears to be doing extremely well against Kevin Levrone in the most muscular pose. I mean, not many people can compete with Kevin Levrone, maybe Phil Heath, but Dexter Jackson is really putting up a good fight here. Dexter Jackson has some amazing 3D fullness to those arms and delts, and he looks amazing here, having perfect conditioning throughout the quads and midsection and chest. Everything is just striated and dry, and he has that trademark, Dexter Jackson, the blade conditioning. Kevin Levrone, I think, is doing just enough to keep Dexter Jackson at bay, having amazing shoulders that are striated and those 3D arms that nobody except for like Phil Heath can rival. His chest is striated perfectly. Those quads seem to have lost, some water weight and look amazing now, super ripped and conditioned. And Kevin Levrone just looks flawless. I think Dexter Jackson, although he looks amazing, just cannot beat Kevin Levrone in Kevin Levrone's signature pose here. It would be like a crime to give Dexter Jackson the pose, not because Dexter Jackson looks bad, but just because Kevin Levrone looks so good here. So the most muscular pose would go to Kevin Levrone in my opinion. So guys, that about does it for this comparison, and just to finish it off, I'll summarize the results. So I had Kevin Levrone winning the front lat spread, the side tricep, the rear lat spread, and the most muscular, where I had Dexter Jackson winning the front double bicep, the side chest, the rear double bicep, and the abs and thigh poses. So obviously this comparison resulted in a tie, and there were most definitely poses that could have gone either way, like the front lat spread, the front double bicep, the rear double bicep pose, and the side chest. Definitely a lot of poses that could have gone to either one of these guys. And leave down below what you guys think about this comparison. If you guys think, Kevin should have been winning other poses, or if Dexter should have been winning other ones as well. Maybe if you guys want to know who I had winning personally, Kevin Levrone is one of my favorite bodybuilders of all time, so I would probably have Kevin winning, but that's just my bias and not according to the pictures. So yeah, that about does it for this comparison. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.